I'm not surprised Hussein's 2012 campaign starts off with 5 useful idiots, asking potential useful idiots to join them in ignoring the truth and clamoring support for an evil liar who relentlessly assaults America and thumbs his nose at our Constitution. It is indeed very sad to see people cheering for their own demise. I can only address this abomination as Hussein and would feel an idiot if I were to call a Muslim punk who has usurped the presidency president. Not being racist, I unfortunately realized too late what was happening. Hussein had already ran up millions of dollars to keep his record sealed. Why would anyone who has nothing to hide do that? Why was the public so unperturbed by the incongruent signals of a supposed professor who can't pronounce simple words like corpsman, saying instead corpsman, even while reading from a teleprompter?
Navy Corpsman Christian Bashar. Corpsman Bashar. Corpsman.
Hussein can't even remotely articulate in the style of the book Dreams of My Father was written. Why belittle people who question the ridiculous assertion that a man claiming the U.S. has 57 states is a college professor? The Council of Foreign Relations, together with the Muslim Brotherhood, truly performed a miracle, installing an even bigger dunce than Bush into the White House.
I can't not be involved. There's just too much that is fundamentally important right now that's going on.
Hussein appreciates all sheep, Ed. He needs support from people like you, as he hasn't totally destroyed America just yet.
I don't agree with Obama on everything, but I respect him and I trust him.
All Hussein has ever done is lie and deceive. That's his job as a Muslim. But for you to say that you trust and respect someone who works hard at destroying America makes me indeed very suspicious of where you might currently reside, Ed.
I think it needs to reflect the changes that we've seen in the last 2.5 years.
Naturally, people are thrilled beyond delirious over the changes from a megalomaniac and his backers who somehow convinced a majority of really dumb politicians and really stupid judges that his fraudulent credentials are the real thing, Catherine. Only when America stops denying that Hussein is a Muslim will they understand his abhorrent, evil, and confusing actions.
It is the duty of every Muslim to keep striving until all governments have been converted to Sharia law.
Your enthusiasm for the fraudsters give Hussein and Mitch the energy they need to destroy America. Your unrealistic and childish admiration caused them to effortlessly make America the laughingstock on the international stage, claiming to be lawyers who gave up their licenses. You five are totally oblivious to the danger America is in, especially since the White House was hijacked by a Muslim who vowed to bring change, which meant making America Sharia law compliant.
I had this perception that politics was all show, it was all sound bites, but politics is how we govern ourselves. That's what politics is. At the grassroots level, it's individuals talking to other individuals and making a difference.
So you believe that laws being forced down your throat by executive order actually translate into govern ourselves, really? Your original perception did not deceive you, Catherine.
Then we had an underdog senator. Nobody thought that he had a chance. And now he's the president.
Yeah, wasn't that great, Catherine? At the time, the world also had no idea about the scam Hussein concocted with terrorist William Ayers. That's him trembling the flag, by the way. A killer Hussein claimed he hardly knew, yet they are lifelong close friends. Do you realize how much power Ayers, who wrote Hussein's first book, holds over this lying Muslim's head? Everyone thought Juggias was really smart until teleprompter mishaps leaked and gave a glimpse of the actual true intelligence of the dimwit. Thanks to Donald Trump, the arrest of that treasonous lowlife could very well be imminent. That's Mitch, a fashionista according to the sycophantic media. But she really is a water buffalo whose jaw enters the room 2 minutes before she does. Her huge butt takes an extra 5 minutes to exit. But hey, who is better qualified lecturing us on what and how much we should eat, right? Two low-life criminals pretending to be lawyers, pretending they gave up their law licenses. They never had a license, fool. What is wrong with people allowing the thugs constant multi-million-dollar vacations? I'm thrilled Donald Trump brought the fraudsters to the forefront. They were flying very high for way too long. I can hardly wait for that crash landing.
I just saw the energy and hope that he had for this country. But even though I couldn't exactly vote at the time, I knew that someday I'd be able to help re-elect him. And that's what I plan on doing.
Hussein has a lot of energy on the campaign trail, Mike. If America wouldn't have been so desperate to get rid of Bush, people might have been more critical and avoided this Muslim scam we have in the White House right now. Hussein falls under taqiyya, a principle that instructs Muslims that it is their duty to lie to non-Muslims about political ambitions to protect and spread Islam. All of his actions show that he is indeed a Muslim. He vigorously defends and supports Islam. He's not available during Muslim holidays. He does not wear his wedding ring when Islam forbids Muslims to wear jewelry. Homosexuality spells death for a Muslim, but only for Hussein's partners. 3 of his intimate friends were assassinated, all within a 5-week period, because they threatened to expose their relationship with him.
It is the duty of every Muslim to keep striving until all governments have been converted to Sharia law.
Perhaps now your hero's lies make a bit more sense to you? How much respect can you have for someone who claims America has 57 states? Do you really believe these 2 are lawyers? The story of them giving up their licenses was concocted by the sycophantic media. Neither one of those liars has the intellectual capability of being a lawyer, nor does he have what it takes to write a book. William Ayers wrote the first one. In other words, both criminals in that White House are simply not smart enough, Mike. Voting for Hussein made America prove to the world we were not racist. You know the fool me once principle? Heaven forbid if we reach the fool me twice scenario, i.e. voting for this buffoon again. It will totally destroy America and your chances of ever leading a normal life, Mike. Besides, remember Acorn, the fraudsters responsible for his big win? Now they are being quietly prosecuted for thousands of illegal voting records.
As a community, we all have the same concerns. We all want our kids to go to school and learn. We want them to graduate. We want jobs to be out there. We want people to have homes. We want people to have opportunity.
If opportunity is what you're looking for, I suggest you find the real truth, Gladys. The misery Hussein has caused is sickening, as he is on a fast track to extinguish America. Unfortunately, it is people like you who make it possible for him to find even more like you. All we can hope for is that others are not as sophisticated as you 5 country bumpkins who allowed lying criminals to flatter you into making fools of yourselves.
There are so many things that are still on the table that need to be addressed, and we want them to be addressed by President Obama.
Gladys, do you have any idea who told Harry Reid that he has a gift? All he needed was the empty promise of hope and change, with no specifics to convince a mass of mesmerized sheep, okay, he said people, that he, Hussein, possessed leadership potential. Sadly, your video unfortunately showed that he was correct.
And unfortunately, President Obama is one person. He cannot go, plus he got a job. You know, we're paying him to do a job, so we can't say, hey, could you just take some time off and come and get us all energized?
Hussein has many black clodhoppers like you doing all the energizing for him there. His job being an arrogant, serial line, usurping Chicago thug Muslim sure is exhausting. For America, that is. What with all the parties, golf, then showing the world how to make fools of the American people with a corrupt, sycophantic media and justice muppets who don't give a flip about the Constitution. I'm almost certain that Donald Trump will eject this fraudulent Muslim ass out of our White House.